Hi students, I am Benila, your English teacher for grade 11. Already we have completed Unit 1, Prose, Poem and Supplement Reader. Now let us move on to the Unit 2. Already we have completed Poem and Prose. Now let me move on to the Supplement Reader. That is the second Supplement Reader, A Shot in the Dark, written by Saki. So Saki is a pen name and his full name is Hector H. Munro. So Hector H. Munro is having another one name, that is a pen name we will call for the writings he used to have. So that name is Saki. Okay, so don't confuse with the pen name. Okay, now let me go about the author. After that we'll go to the story. Okay, so Hector H. Munro was a British writer whose witty and mischievous sometimes his macabre. Macabre is a dreadful stories or fearful stories we can say. So his satirizes about Edwardian society and culture. So his stories, everything, it will be about this fearsome and mischievous and sometimes witty too. Witty means a comic one. Okay, so now let me tell you about him. He was born on 18th December in 1870 and it is in Burma, and he died in 14th November. And he is known by his pen name. Already I told you pen name Saki, and also he will be called as a H. Munro. Okay, and he has published nearly 138 short stories and 5 plays and 2 novels and dozens of sketches and political satirizers and essays. He is considered as a master of short story and often compared to O. Henry. Okay, now let me read and tell you about the author. So take page number about the author in page number 62. Everyone take a textbook, page number 62 about the author. Okay, now let me read you and listen. Hector H. Munro, born in 18 December in 1870 and died in 14 November 1916, better known by his pen name Saki and also frequently as H. Munro, was a British writer whose witty, mischievous and sometimes macabre, that is I told you already, dreadful or fearsome stories, and satirizes Edwardian society and culture. So always it depends on Edwardian culture and society. So he is considered as a master of short story and often compared to O. Henry. Besides his short stories, I told you how many short stories he has written? Nearly 138 short stories he has written, and he wrote a full-length play. Okay, so the title is The Watched Pond in collaboration with Charles Maud. So he has written with the collaboration of Charles Maud, that is The Watched Pond. And he has written nearly 138 short stories and 5 plays and 2 novels too. Okay, so I hope you have understood about the writer. Let me move on to the lesson. That is the supplement reader. Take page number 58, A Shot in the Dark by Saki. Okay, take that. So now we'll move on to the warm-up. Can you spot 10 differences between these pictures? Have you taken the page number 58 and say that you have to mention that differences in the picture. Okay, so note it down in your textbook. Complete that. How observant are you? Individually, try to spot as many differences as possible in 5 minutes. If you have spotted less than 5, then you really need to improve your observation skills just to save yourself from being misled. So you might have seen many persons by the appearance they will find or they will tell the character. So they will be able to observe very well whether this person will tell lie or not, they can understand. So many appearance or something they can find it and they will be able to observe the person. So here you have your spot the differences between by seeing this picture you have to spot. So by that we are going to guess how observant you are, how you are going to observe the persons. Okay, so now what is the reason behind the observation we will see in this story. Let me tell you the characters in the story. There are four main characters: Philip Slatherby, Mrs. Saltanjago, Betty, and Cloud People Casey. So let me tell about them. Philip Slatherby, a man who aspires to become politician. So he wants to enter into political life. So he aspires to be a politician. And Mrs. Saltanjago, she lives in Brilmanor, that is in place of Chalkshire, that is in London, a rich and influenced lady of high rank. And her son, Betty, son of Mrs. Saltanjago. And Cloud People Casey, a friend of Slatherby. So now we have seen there is a four characters. Now let me tell you the gist of the story. So before that, let me ask you a question. How many of you would like to help a stranger, even in bus stand or in market, any place? If a stranger is coming and asking a help, will you help them? Sometimes you may help. Okay. So how you will be able to help them? Will you find that they are telling the truth? If they are asking for money, will you inquire that really their money has lost? Yes, you might inquire that. Okay, so how you will confirm that they are telling truth? By their appearance or by asking repeated questions to them, right? Okay, so you might ask them how much money you had in your purse or something. You will be asking them and you will identify that they are telling truth or not. Then you will be helping. Sometimes if you find that they are telling lie, what you will do? You won't help them. Okay, so here is also a story like that. Philip Slatherby is trying to identify the person Betty, whether he is telling lie or not. Okay, so he is saying that Betty is not a true son of Mrs. Saltanjago. So he tries to ask a lot of questions and find the truth, and we will see whether he is helping Betty or not. Okay, so now let me tell you about that. So Saltanjago and Betty are traveling in a train. So when they are traveling, Betty wanted to tell something about his mother, how she looks like, what is the, they have some crest, there is a jago crest. Okay, so the simple like a print or something they have. So that stamp thing, whether this is Betty is having a real one or not, is the doubt of Philip Slatherby. Okay. So how he is managing by asking questions, and at last how he is finding the truth whether Betty is Saltanjago's son or not. Okay, so the travel in this train, we will have a lot of conversation between Philip Slatherby and Betty. Okay, now let me move on to the lesson. Read page number 58. Here is an amusing story that describes how a man who considers himself very smart and observant finds that he had mistaken the genuine plea of a stranded youth. Okay, so here is a man, he is considering himself as a very smart person. So most of the time we feel we are very smart. Okay, so we will tell to somebody that I am very smart to observe the person's character, so I was not in trouble. Okay, so being very smart, we will be answering. Okay, so now here genuine person is we can see a genuine person, Betty. He is going to tell the truth to Philip Slatherby. Okay, so now let me read the characters in the play. Philip Slatherby, Mrs. Saltanjago, Betty, and Cloud People Casey. Okay, move on to the lesson. Philip Slatherby settled himself down in an almost empty railway carriage with the pleasant consciousness of being embarked on an agreeable and profitable pilgrimage. He was bound for Brill Manor, the country residence of his newly achieved acquaintance, Mrs. Saltanjago. Honorio Saltanjago was a person of some social importance in London, of considerable importance and influence in the country of Chalkshire. The country of Chalkshire, or at any rate the eastern division of it, was of immediate personal interest of Philip Slatabhai. It was held for the government in the present parliament by a gentleman who did not intend to seek re-election, and Slatabhai was under serious consideration by the party managers as his possible successor, and with luck the seat might be held. The Sultan Jago influence was not an item which could be left out of consideration, and the political aspirant had been delighted at meeting Honorio at a small and friendly luncheon party. Still more gratified when she had asked him down to her country house for the following Friday to Tuesday. He was obviously on approval, and if he could secure the goodwill of his hostess, he might count on her nominating him as an assured thing. If he failed to find favor in her eyes, well, the local leaders would probably cool off in their embryo enthusiasm for him. Okay, so now Philip Slatabhai, he is traveling to his pilgrimage. Pilgrimage means a religious journey. That is, he is moving to Bril Manor, that is a country residence where Mrs. Sultan Jago's place. That is a Honorio Sultan Jago means it is a honor of a woman. Honorio means honoring a woman in a Latin word. So here there is another one more word, embarked. Embarked means boarded. So he is very comfortably, he is getting a seat in the train, and he settled down for where he is moving. He is moving to a pilgrimage, that is to Bril Manor. So for what reason he is moving means Mrs. Sultan Jago is a very honored person in London. So to meet her he is moving. So she is in the place of London in the Chalkshire, in the countryside she is there. So now Philip Slatabhai is wanted to meet her. For what reason means he wanted to get into the eastern division of Chalkshire. So that eastern part he wanted to get into. So as a leader he wanted to get a position in the eastern division. So that he wanted to get a concern of Mrs. Sultan Jago. So if he is going and meeting her, he would be able to get that place. So it is the eastern division is his personal interest to get that, because the government has held a parliament. So by that, one gentleman who did not wanted to, who would not seek intention to have a re-election there. So in that place he is able to get into. So many other local people also, they are ready to get into that position. But what is that means? If they get a concern in Mrs. Sultan Jago's eyes, they will be able to get this position. So he is moving there. So Sultan Jago, he has met, there is a newly friend of Philip Slatabhai. So now he is trying to move and meet her. Sultan Jago has given an appointment there. That is on Friday to Tuesday in their house. That is a country house. They can come and meet her. So now to meet her, he is moving to Bril Manor. So if there is a good name, they have got it from Mrs. Sultan Jago, he can able to get into the position. Otherwise, that is the local people, they will be able to get into the position. So he is trying to meet her and get a good name from her. Okay, the next paragraph. Among the passengers dotted about on the platform awaiting their respective trains, Slatabhai espied a club. Espied means caught a sight, able to see that a club acquaintance, and called him up to the carriage window for a chat. So now in the platform, everybody are moving. Some persons are awaiting there for their train. Their train has to come. So in that time, Slatabhai, he could caught some person in his eyes. That is a known person he caught for as he is sitting near to the window in the carriage. He caught a person to chat with him. So he is talking to him in sitting in the window side. Oh, you are staying with Mrs. Sultan Jago for the weekend, are you? I accept you will have a good time. She has the reputation of being an excellent hostess. She will be useful to you too if that parliamentary project. Hello, you are off. Goodbye. So he is asking to the other person, unknown person, that is a new person. To him he is talking. So till now you have been with her, that is Mrs. Salton Jagosa. For the weekend you have been. How you had your time? I think it is a good time for you. Like that, he's having a talk with the other person. So the excellent hostess, she is a good hostess. Hostess means to guide the guest up. So welcoming the guest will be no. So like that, she is a good person. So as you have gone there, she will be able to welcome you very well, and she will be very useful to you. Like that, he is telling. The other person also is telling to Philip Slotherby. And now they have a talk and they are moving from the place and they are saying goodbye to each other. So the next paragraph. Slotherby waved goodbye to his friend, pulled up the window and turned his attention to the magazine lying on his lap. He had scarcely glanced at a couple of pages, however, when a smothered curse caused him to glance hastily at the only other occupant of the carriage. His travelling companion was a young man of about 22, with dark hair, fresh complexion, and the blend of smartness and disarray that marks the costume of a nut who is bound on a rustic holiday. He was engaged in searching furiously and ineffectually for some elusive or non-existent object. From time to time he dug a sixpenny bit out of a waistcoat pocket and stared at it ruefully. Then recommend the futile searching operation. A cigarette case, matchbox, latchkey, silver pencil case, and railway ticket were turned out onto the seat beside him. But none of these articles seemed to afford him satisfaction. He cursed again, rather louder than before. The vigorous pantomime did not draw forth any remark from Slotherby, who resumed his scrutiny of the magazine. Okay. The explanation. Slotherby, he is waving a goodbye to the other person, and he pulled up the window and turned his attention towards the magazine what he is having in his lap. So he has glanced at a couple of pages, 2 pages he has just glanced. Within that, what happened, a person nearby, he came very hastily, it means very speed up. That is another person, he came to his carriage. So his traveling companion was a young man about 22. 22 means 22 age, with a dark hair. His hair was very dark and fresh complexion. Fresh complexion means very fair in color, and the blend of smartness and disarray. Disarray means untidiness. It was not any good, a proper way, good way. That marks the costume of a nut who is bound of a rustic holiday. Rustic holiday means going for the fishing places. Nut means going, being like a silly person. Doesn't being a formal, it is not like that. Informal way, going for the fishing, how the people will be very casual way, silly person. So like that his appearance was there, and he was engaged very searchingly, that is very furiously he was searching. Ineffectually means in vain. So it was not able to find that. He is searching something, but there is no use in searching. So for what he was searching, which is non-existent object, which we cannot find, that object he is continuously searching from. So he is in between, he is digging his dug a sixpenny bit out of his waistcoat pockets. So only the sixpenny alone he is taking again and again. He is seeing it that in a ruefully, very sorrowfully. When you are not able to get more money, only a few money is there with you, you will be very sorrowful, right? So like that, the person is getting very sorrowful by seeing the sixpenny from his waist pocket. So now his searching is not stopped. Again and again he is searching for. So when he is searching, he is taking all the things and he is keeping spreading in the seat. So what are the things are there means a cigarette case, matchbox, latchkey. A latchkey means outdoor key. Outdoor house we will have, no, in that one more key he is having. And silver pencil case. This all the things, and ticket, railway ticket, everything he has kept in the seat. Okay, so that he has spread out. But none of these articles seemed happy for him. So he is missing some other things. So he is wanted to search for that. So these all the things is not giving any satisfaction for him. Again and again he is cursing for the missing things, and his voice is raising up. He is louderly, he is cursing again and again than the before. So the vigorous pantomime. Pantomime means exaggerated behavior. So if we are missing something, we will be behaving in a different way, right? So like that he is doing all the things. But this way of the boy, the person's activity, nothing disturbs Slatherby. Slatherby is not ready to notice anything. He is just watching his magazine. Who resumed his scrutiny of the magazine. So he is continuously he is examining the magazine. Okay, the next paragraph we will see in the next class. Thank you for watching. Hope you have understood. Let me tell you the gist of the story again in the last of this lesson. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye bye.